Natasha, you have performed a miracle. Hi everybody, so today we have another foundation review, and today it's the turn of Natasha Denona Hy-Glam Foundation, the very anticipated foundation that everyone has been screaming for so long. So I've already actually got this on my face, so spoiler alert, this is not a bad review. That's all I'll say. But let's just say I'm a happy bunny. I cannot wait to show you this. I've actually got all Natasha Denona products to try on with this in the same sort of line as this, so we can see how they all work together. So again, that's what I'm wearing on my face now. And I'm going to do a midday check-in and an evening check-in, so you can see how this wears throughout the day and my final thoughts. I'm going to try different application methods with sponge, with primer, without, with brush. Lots of things really, so we can really get our teeth into how this foundation works. So I'm really looking forward to this. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 48, I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I show you the latest releases, my favourite looks, and give you any beauty news you might be interested in. If you're not subscribed, I would be super grateful if you did. Lots of people tune in sometimes and don't subscribe, but if you could, honestly, it's very helpful. But if you're already subscribed, I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for returning to my channel. And my skin tone, if we're going to look at the shade and everything today, I have fair to light skin with predominantly cool undertones that can lean a bit neutral. I've also got combination skin, which is mostly dry, but I do sometimes get a bit of an oily T-zone. Anyway, that is enough about me. Let's dive straight into this Natasha Denona foundation review. So Natasha, you have quite the job on your hands today. I am running on less than 4 hours sleep, not much more the night before. My dog Alfie has been really unwell and he's been keeping me up all night, being sick, bless him. He sleeps in the room with me, so it's been chaos. And he's still not well. He's hungry this morning, but I don't know what's going on. He's got a very upset tummy and he's feeling very sorry for himself. And I'm feeling quite sorry for myself too, with the lack of sleep, and I worry about him. But anyway, I digress. I look dreadful today, so I need a massive pick-me-up. So Natasha, everything you promised this can do, we're really going to find out today whether or not it can do it. So high hopes I have. Now I do have quite a few of the HyGen, HY-GLAM look products, in front of me here, starting with the HyGen Energizing and Hydrating Primer Serum. So today I'm going to put this on just one side of the face, not both sides, because I want to see how it performs without a primer. If you're not familiar with this primer, it is a very glowy primer. It's also very hydrating. It's actually a really nice primer. So this should add the sort of radiance I'm expecting to get from the foundation, but also being such a lovely hydrating formula, it does help foundations to work well on me. I won't use the Maybelline grippy one in my T-zone area, which I do usually use. I'll see how this performs today without that. If I have problems in my check-in today, then throughout the month I will try various ways of making it work, including that primer, if needed. So we're going to see how it performs on the primer side and the non-primer side, but can you see the glow I get from that compared with this side? That shine is quite something, look at that. Whoa. Okay, even my camera is putting warnings up about the glow level. But it's not my lighting camera, this is actually the primer. I did actually get the sponge that Natasha sort of suggested when I went to Basket. So this is the Natasha Denona sponge. I don't know if it's got a name. Latex-free makeup applicator. That's all it says. It came in this rather huge tub. So I'll try this today on one side and I'll try a brush on the other. So let's look at some information about this foundation. So this has a whopping 52 shades, so a fantastic shades selection. I'll put a picture up on the screen. It's £47, you get 30 millilitres in here. I've gone for the shade R2, which is a fair light rosy. I'm worried it could be a bit too light, but we'll find out today. So this is a Hy-Glam foundation which features groundbreaking Japanese amino acid pigments for an ultra flexible texture and a second skin finish. The serum formula seamlessly glides onto the skin, delivering a lightweight, luminous, natural blurring effect that doesn't settle into fine lines or pores for up to 18 hours of wear. I'm not sure if I'll make it to 18 today. I think I'll be asleep by tea time, but anyway, hopefully I can do a decent wear test. So medium buildable coverage, radiant blurring finish, creaseless self-setting formula, so I will try to just set my T-zone if I can. We'll see how we get on. Hypoallergenic, non-comedogenic, safe for sensitive skin. This is long lasting, up to 18 hours as we've said, and it's talc free. So this is a hybrid foundation delivering immediate and long-term skincare benefits while it's blurring your imperfections instantly and actively improving your skin with each wear. It has bamboo powder and microalgae which help to balance excess oils, providing a radiant finish for dry to oily skin types without looking greasy. There's also grape pomace. This provides short and long-term hydration which boosts collagen production. It's anti-aging, reduces the appearance of wrinkles, improves moisture and detoxifies the skin. I'm going to be useless today, guys, you just have to bear with me. Then we have Jasmine Mother Cells, which boost antioxidant defenses, brighten and fight hyperpigmentation, and White Tea Silver Needle, which blurs imperfections and skin texture and helps with scars, etc. It defends, soothes and repairs sensitive skin. It calms and reduces redness immediately and over time, and it strengthens the skin barrier. So basically, this is packed full of goodness, which I love to hear these days. I do like additional skincare, not necessarily because I need the additional skincare. My skincare routine is very good, but because I find that when these products are added, the better they seem to perform for me. I think especially on mature skin, I'm finding skincare-based ones work really well, and the more they're coming out with them, the better they're getting, the better combinations they're putting in. So I'll be excited to see how this is. That's all the information I've got, but I do also have the full list of ingredients, which I'll now pop onto the screen. So there's nothing left to do but try this on. So let's have a look at the packaging, which I happen to think is beautiful. I really, really like it. Why do I like it? I just think it looks very sleek. If you look at the packaging of the concealer, which is from the same family, so these are both High Glam, and you can see the packaging is the same. So the material that we get on this lid is the same material we get with this, which is a good one for sort of wiping down and keeping clean, which I think is really good. But it also looks really, really modern. I really like the packaging. It's not too heavy. Does it say anything else on it apart from made in Italy and formulated in Korea, which is two of the things that I thought was really good news, because both Korean formulations and made in Italy, we know that that's got to be fabulous, don't we? So let's give this a shake up, and I can hear it moving around, which suggests this is going to be quite lightweight. And let's put one pump onto the back of my hand. So there we are, you can see this running down my hand. I don't know if a sponge application is the best way with this, but let's try it this way, which has been my latest favourite way with the Tom Ford. So I'm going to just start with this much and rub it in with my hands initially to just get it going. Doing this with the Tom Ford and a sponge, the Tom Ford Architecture Radiance, gosh, this is looking good, you know. And it's looking like the right shade for me. But anyway, doing this with my hands to start the application off and finishing with a sponge has been a really winning way of applying the foundation to avoid caking and the best finish for the day. Oh, this is looking absolutely stunning. Look how just with my finger I've rubbed that in and it looks like it's almost done. Wow, promising. So I'm going to actually add a bit to the sponge, just a tiny bit. When I say add, I mean I'm still taking from that one pump on the back of my hand. So now I'm going to press it in with the sponge. I don't know if this, I feel like the sponge is actually taking too much of the product away. Let's just see. I feel like the redness has come back on my cheek there. That's the problem with such a lightweight formula. When you use a sponge, it just laps it up. It doesn't do it with the Tom Ford, but the Tom Ford's not quite as runny as this one. Do need to also keep in mind this is the side with the primer on, so we are going double liquid if you like. We've already got a lot of, I've got my skincare plus that primer. This is looking really, really, really beautiful at the moment. I'll take a bit more what's left of that one pump onto the sponge to see if I can just tap a bit more here. And that redness is showing up a bit. I just feel like the sponge somehow moves it around and takes the product away. I'm going to I'm going to go switch to the brush. I don't think the sponge is the best application here. It's just it's eating the product. So I've got my Refa LCO3, which I was just going to do this side, but I do want to just tap a bit of the product with this sponge, with this brush, and straight away that's much better. Which tells me the sponge, despite it being sold with it or recommended with it on the website, I don't think it's a good idea. Which makes sense. I don't usually like to use a sponge with products that are too runny. It's more the thicker ones that the sponge application is really good for, I find. Look at that. It's just like satin skin, your skin but better. So here's the side that I haven't done. And here's the side that I have. And my immediate thoughts on this, as you saw just by putting it on with my fingers, is this is absolutely stunning. It feels beautiful. I've got that one pump going on this side now, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing by starting off with my fingers, which I think you could probably actually do the whole application with your fingers. Not something I do, but I do like to finish with a brush or a sponge. Just look how easy this is. How many foundations that quickly just seem to go straight on? This is just like putting on a really beautiful lightweight moisturiser. Look at that. I just feel like the brush is almost not needed at all. I'm very pleased with the shade match. It's not too pale. I'm very pleased. It's an exact match, I think, for my skin tone. So well done me in getting the right skin match. I can't get any words right today, honestly. But if I look alive by the end of this, then Natasha has performed a miracle. Do you know what? I'm really excited about this. Really, genuinely excited about this, because I just know from the second I put it on my face that this is a good one. This is definitely giving the blurring, the radiance, the natural finish, the lightweight cover, the correction of the redness, and it's definitely buildable because I really see it built up there. I love it. I absolutely love it. Honestly, I mean, obviously I need to add all the rest of my makeup. I need to do a wear test. If I was going to call it right now, this is going to be in my top 3 of all time foundations. That's my current thought. Please don't change throughout the day. Please don't cake and make me hate you. Right now this is really good. So let's try the concealer that this partners with. So I've got it in a deeper shade, which I'm going to use. This is N1, and I don't have any sort of corrector on today, so I'm using this to cover up sort of dark and purple marks that I've got there. And then I'm going to use the lighter shade, which I bought in the same shade, I think. So RN1. Oh no, it's not the same shade. I didn't get exactly the same shade as the foundation. I got R2 in the foundation. I got RN1, a new one for me to try for my brightening shade in this formula. Well, this formula, I think I've never heard a concealer be recommended or told. I've never heard it anything mentioned as much as this one in terms of it's people's favourite. It gives the best coverage, and people absolutely love it. So if the foundation has the same response, this combination could easily become everyone's 2 holy grails. This one is like a serum. It blends in like a beautiful skincare, but it also gives a really good amount of coverage. It's never been cakey on me. It's in my top list for sure. It really is. It's a beautiful, beautiful formula. And you can see just how beautifully those two are sitting together there. Really, really good. So one of the latest releases from Natasha Denona was this bronzer, the liquid bronzer, which wasn't a good success for me because of the shade, but the formula is exceptional. So I've got a little bowl here, which I've been using to do this, if I can find my pigment. So I've got some blue pigment here, and I'm going to add a little bit of that to it, which is how I make this work for me, just to make it a little bit cooler. So now taking a little bit of that, I'm going to run it into my sort of contour areas, and I'll use it as a sort of base bronzer. I'm going for a fairly casual look today, so I'm not being massively careful. Still looks a little bit warm. I could have added a bit more blue. This will do. And then taking my Mario F4 brush, I'm just going to start taking this on the cheeks. No, it's not too warm. Just picked it up a bit strangely, the brush there. I'll just tap a bit off. A little goes a very long way with this. So it'll be interesting to see how these formulas all work together, because they should pair together beautifully. And let's see, they shouldn't also lift this foundation. They should literally just mould into one another, which is, I like to apply my makeup like this anyway. I always put a cream contour or a cream bronzer. Just look how well that blends. It is a stunning formula, which why for me it was worth getting the pigment. Well, I already had the pigment. It's worth getting the pigment out to make the shade work. But I do hope Natasha does come out with a slightly cooler option for people like me. To give you an idea of how much you need of this, by the way, I put a tiny pump in here, and that's how much is left. So I've probably used 1/10 of the pump. It really does go a very long way. Every time I look at this foundation, I'm just so impressed. I just think this looks stunning. So I've got that high blush from Natasha. I've got this one in Fresh Mauve, I think it is. Yeah, this is my favourite out of all of these. So this one has a cream highlight and a cream blush. I'll take a bit of the cream blush. And again, these should be working together really well without lifting foundation. And they absolutely are. So I haven't used this blush for ages, but I did really enjoy them when they launched. They didn't go straight to my #1, but they are very nice. We've just had so many blushes, you forget to go back and use things sometimes. And this shade in particular I really like. So, same on the other side. Can you see how much more glowy this side of my face looks? And that's because of that primer, which I think looks too glowy. I will be setting it to bring it down, but I do think it's too glowy. So maybe you need a primer with this foundation, maybe you don't, but I don't think that one is the best one because it just makes everything too glowy. Unless you love that. So now it's time to set. It does say, it is, I'm sure it said self-setting. Just can't imagine it. It feels very wet, but I'm going to be setting under the eyes for sure. I'll set all of the T-zone and see how I feel. But certainly the side with the primer is going to be way too sticky feeling, I think, for me to tolerate. I do have my hair up, so I don't need to worry about my hair sticking to my face. But I don't think I could walk around feeling that sticky. And I do feel sticky with the two together. And I've actually got the Hyper Natural Face Palette. Remember this from ages ago? It's probably gone past its expiry by now because I don't think it had a very long expiry, a very long life. It was 12 months looking at the back, but anyway, it's gone past that, so let's see what happens. So I'm going to take these bronzers. I like to use these two together. Let's just see how powder is going to sit on top of this without me having used any sort of other powder. And the answer to that is very nicely. I do like this bronzer, you know. I'd like this bronzer to come out as a single powder because it's really nice. Look. And again, as it should, working together beautifully. I'm looking at these eyeshadows in here and wondering if they've gone. Anyway, we shall find out today. And then for the blush, I'm going to take the lightest of the two and put some over here. So the cream that I laid down was very much a base. I'm going to take this bronzer in the crease of the eye as well. I am going for a simple look. If I'm capable of a simple look, because if you know me, I'm not really good at simple looks. I always end up doing more, saying, oh, I'll just do a 1 and done, and it becomes a 5 and done. Anyone else like that? Again, look at this shade of bronzer in the crease. It really is very good. And underneath. So today I think I'll go with this pinky one, which is called Soft. Let's see if it's still going to work. So an expired eyeshadow. It's creamy, so yeah, it's still working. It's still really beautiful actually. too deep for me to take it over the whole of the eye, so I think I will have to introduce at least one other shade. Told you I can't do a 1 and 10. So I'll take this Dreamy and put that in the inner corner on that very first third to bring these two together and bring a pop of light there. This one feels a little bit more clumpy actually. Maybe that one is starting to be past its best, but it is working. I seem to remember the darkest shades in this worked really well as liners, so I think I'll try that with this dark one here, the dark brown. No, that was the wrong one. It was this one I should have gone for. I'll have to clean that off. Even though nothing has actually gone on my brush, that one looks like it's dried out. Yeah, this one is pretty much dried out, you know. Let's hope this centre one, Statement it's called, hasn't dried out. Oh, I don't know. I don't think this is going to work. I'm getting a reasonable amount, I think. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's still working. It's so nice to go back into something that's old instead of always using everything brand new. I remember at the time, this wasn't a very popular palette, but I really liked it because it does everything. And it's really good for travel. I do really like the eye looks I can get with it. Did you get this one and enjoy it? And is it still working for you? And just to use another from the series, I've got the Natasha Denona Hy Gen highlighter. I've got this in the lightest shade. So I'm going to use this one in my inner corner. Under my brow. And I'll take a fan brush to highlight with it. Now this one I remember is extremely strong, so you'll have to be quite careful with the amount. Definitely, if you've got these in your collection and you get this foundation, try them together because this is lovely. These are just working together absolutely perfectly, and I feel like I'm getting such a perfect skin finish. I love it actually, I really love it. Everything has worked together so nicely. I'm sure that plenty of other products can, but if you just happen to have these, pull them out and try it. Because I'm genuinely quite over the moon with this look, and I looked so bad earlier. It's really brought me back to life. Natasha, you have performed a miracle. So for my lips, I'm going to pull out the Louis Vuitton. I'm going to try and pull this one out as much as possible, get my money's worth out of this. So this one, if you haven't seen my Louis Vuitton review, this one is the Spell on You shade. So it's quite a bright pink. I don't know how it'll look with this eye look, but anyway, I'm going to put this on. I'm going to wear this a lot, as I said. I love how creamy it is. And it's so pretty. And if by chance you saw my Louis Vuitton review, I just want to update you on this lipstick because it lasted, the colour lasted a good few hours and it didn't spill outside at all. So this isn't one that seems to feather at all on me, and it lasts. And so does the hydration. It really is a very good formula and a very pretty shade. Anyway, we're not here to review that. That was just a little update. This is my full face pretty much, apart from the lips, of Natasha Denona HY-GLAM, Hy Gen, Hy products. But most importantly, we've been looking at this foundation, which for me is a knockout. This looks gorgeous. Let me look in my magnification mirror, which hopefully won't make me change my mind. I am seeing a little bit actually. A little bit. But not so much on the primer side. Well, that's interesting. I am seeing a bit of caking just in this section, but not on the primer side. So I wouldn't say you need that primer, but it tells me that for me anyway, I need a hydrating primer, which is normally the case for me anyway. So I probably do. But on the whole, it's looking pretty good. Now I won't put any setting spray on today. Do I think this needs to be set? Yes, I absolutely do. It feels very tacky. Let me get a tissue and see if it is transfer proof. I would like to try to wear this today without adding any powder because I've got my hair up, so I should be able to cope. There is a tiny bit on the tissue. I don't know if you can see it because it really is a tiny amount. So I wouldn't say it's, yeah, I can definitely see it. So I wouldn't say this is transfer proof, but maybe it will be after about an hour or so when it's had time to dry down. But if my hair was down, I would just have to say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to powder because my hair would be stuck all over me because it does not feel like it's dried down. I'll do a midday check-in and tell you how it feels then, so I'll come back and show you then. But for now, this is a hit. I love it. So I'll see you later. So this is my midday check-in. It is, look at the time, it's 4 o'clock, so it's been about 4 hours, nearly 4 hours. So you can see where my glasses have gone into this, but I do think a part of the reason that's looking as bad as it is because I didn't powder much. I did powder the T-zone, but not a lot. So I do have my Fenty powder here, and I think what I will do now is powder the nose a bit more and a bit more around here because I do feel like my oils are coming through a bit. It did say it would keep them at bay, but I feel like that, I don't know if it's the oils or if it's just generally that with the primer and the foundation itself, I just need to set it a bit more because I haven't set it the way I would like to. Well, that's immediately made a difference. I don't know if there's any rescuing the nose situation. Once I've got a print like that from glasses, that's usually it, unless I actually go in with more foundation. But anyway, bit of a heavy powder application, hasn't done much. How do we fix that when that happens? Let's get a sponge and show you how I do it. It's worth keeping in mind that this doesn't just happen because it's removed your makeup. It happens as well because it's actually making an indentation in your skin. And sometimes I find, and I'm sure women my age will relate, you just have a bit more fluid in your face, especially for me today when I'm tired. So sometimes you just carry a little bit more water, and that can mean that when you get a bit of pressure like that, it just marks more heavily. Like I found in the summer, being so hot, I was carrying more fluid all over my body. So sunglasses, I've just put a tiny bit of foundation on this little Morphe sponge. Wearing sunglasses was causing me severe marking. And it wasn't the makeup that was coming off that was causing the marking, it was an indentation. In this case, I think it is mostly the makeup came off, because can you see how easily that fixed? These little sponges from Morphe are just incredible, honestly. I do think I keep them linked in all my videos. If I haven't, please let me know if you want a link, but I love them. So there we are. That's how to quickly do a fix if you get that issue. And the powder didn't do it. It needed to be taken off the foundation and then putting the powder back on. But I'll just put a little bit of the Fenty powder now back on with a smaller brush to set it back in. I'll probably wear my glasses again though, because I'll be editing this section that I'm filming, and I always wear my glasses to edit. So anyway, but on the whole, I think it looks exactly the same as this morning. Possibly the caking around there is a little bit improved, so I think as it settled in it looked better. The primer side is still the better side, the non-primer side is not so good. But it's not terrible, it's just, it is a bit better. There is evidence of a bit of caking where there's no primer. That is the only slight difference. Sorry, this is the better side and this is the more cakey side. Is that what I said? Honestly, confusing myself now. No, this is the side that's not as good. I do have a bit of caking around the nose area, but then I have just done what I've done with these products. Maybe that's caused a bit of an issue. I do think the weather transition plus a bit of a reintroduction of tretinoin, I have been trying out different skincare recently, possibly is affecting the way that foundations are generally sitting on me, because I'm having a lot of bad experiences with foundations. But on the whole, I would say this one is one of the better ones I've tried, and I still think the finish of it is absolutely stunning. But yeah, I'm not sure if the primer is making too much difference, you know. I do think it's probably the same. I'm still fairly convinced that having a hydrating primer is the way forward for me generally, even though this one's got that skincare in, because I think now as the weather is cooling off, that's something my skin's going to start demanding. So you may not find that, but certainly for me I do, with predominantly dry skin. As the temperature's slightly lower, my skin says up skincare. That seems to be the case for me. So anyway, so this is my midday check-in, and I will see you this evening for our evening check-in, and we'll see how it's looking. But at the moment, without any setting spray and minimal powder, only in the centre, I love the way it looks. Still beautiful, and look at that sort of radiant, healthy glow. Very happy. What do you think? Hi everyone, so I'm here with an 8-hour check. Sorry I couldn't get you more than 8 hours, but I am like an absolute zombie. But I don't think there's going to be an awful lot of change for this, you know, because I feel that what this looks like now is pretty much the same as when I did my midday check-in. And at my midday check-in, I didn't really feel there was much difference from when I first applied it, apart from the cakiness had slightly improved in the small areas I had it. And I think that that's ever so slightly happened again. So it was very minimal anyway. Well, every time I've looked in the mirror today, I have been really pleased. I feel like it's made me look, despite having so little sleep, it's made me look alive. It's made me look much more healthy. It's given me such a sort of perfect finish on my skin. It's comfortable, even without me powdering it, which you all know I have such an issue with. It's not bugged me. It might have bugged me with my hair down, but certainly the tackiness has improved. I can still sort of, you know when you put your finger to something and it's not completely dry and you can hear the way your finger connects to it, you know what I mean? I'm still getting that. So probably for me to be totally over the moon with this, I probably would powder it, but that's completely personal. I don't think you need to. But overall, I think I am very, very, very impressed with it. I think my chin is looking quite ropey. I do think that, as I said, reintroducing tretinoin and that changeover in the temperatures is probably making this one of the worst times of the year for me to be testing foundations, because I'm noticing I'm getting problems in this area with every single one I'm trying. The problem is fairly minimal compared with others. I've had some massive problems with others, which can't just be my chin, because I've had the problem everywhere. The rest of my face is looking really, really good. Like my cheeks area and my forehead look exactly the same with no change whatsoever. The slight caking there is completely gone, so that just resolved itself throughout the day. And this is also without any sort of setting spray. If I use the Melt setting spray from One Size, which is my favourite thing to do when I feel like I just need that final finish to let everything fuse together, all the products I've used, especially because I like to put some powders on top. This is the product that does that, so I probably would go ahead and use this. So I think, and I also have a setting spray to try. I've got the Laura Mercier one, which has just arrived, which I'm going to start testing now this week. So I'm going to be testing out a few things. So this will all be falling into my end of month review now for September. So with the Natasha Denona foundation, I've also got the Charlotte Tilbury. They'll be my main two testers at the moment, although we do have another two on the way from Makeup by Mario and from Victoria Beckham. The foundations are raining down upon us, but anyway, they haven't launched yet. So all I know for now is for this month I will be testing out the Charlotte Tilbury again. I will be testing out this, and I've done my review for that. That will be coming out after this one, and I'll be testing this one out again. But the first try, without me really tweaking it and finding my favourite way of applying it, this is a 10 out of 10. This has potential for being absolutely right up there with my number one, which is the Glam Terracotta. I have, by the way, been preparing a comparison video of all the glowy foundations, and every time I think I'm ready to do it, another one launches. So now I've got this one, and there was something I thought I could compare it with. I've forgotten which one it was now. But I might wait for the Makeup by Mario, because that's going to be radiant, and I might wait for Victoria Beckham. So this roundup video I'm preparing could be coming later in the year even. I was hoping to get it out now, but at the moment, if you still want to know my favourites, I think it's going to be the Dior Prestige Cushion that I tried this year and the Glam Terracotta Glow. I don't think any of them will ever take over from the Dior foundation stick, but that's not quite the glowy foundation look that I'm comparing with all of these. This one is very much in the theme of the glowy foundations, like we've had from Givenchy, like we've had, as I said, with the terracotta. We recently had the YSL Glow. I can't even remember all the ones I've been comparing, but there's been so many good ones. This one has potential for taking number one spot. That is how much I loved it today. It gave me exactly the same feeling I got with Glam Terracotta, which is that immediate application and just, oh my goodness, I'm in love. That's exactly how I felt with Glam Terracotta, and every time I go back to it, that's how that one makes me feel. So I think what I'm going to do in my video, you know, when I finally finish it, is I will finish that video with a side by side of my top two, and I can decide for the very final clip which one is my favourite. But at the moment I've got a feeling this one could very much be right up there at the top. So Natasha Denona has absolutely delivered on the promise. It's been worth the wait. If you're excited to try this, you should be. Do I recommend you try it? Absolutely. And it sounds like this is going to work for all skin types from the description, so I would love to hear, if you do try it, if you've got, say, very oily skin, whereas mine's predominantly dry, how are you getting on with it? Because it does say it works for oily skin. So in my case, I like to have a hydrating base. Obviously with an oily skin, you're going to want to skip that oily base and just use this. So that could be how it's so perfect. If you've got very dry skin like me, have some sort of hydrating primer on first and then go in with this. I can't tell you which is the best hydrating primer yet. I think the next one I'll try will be my Bobbi Brown face base, because that's my favourite one, and that one always works beautifully with everything, so I'm going to try that next. But I also have the combination I've been loving so much, which is the grippy primer from Maybelline and the Tatcha. So these two together, and these two together probably would fix that slight issue I've had in the chin, which I've been using to fix an issue I'm pretty much getting with everything. So that minor issue there, I don't think is anything I need to think about, because it's an ongoing issue generally for me. And because I change my skincare about, I test different skincare, and in the last sort of 2 months I've been trying out a different system, and I've reduced my tretinoin, then I stopped it altogether, and now I've reintroduced it. So sort of playing around with skincare systems like that can alter the way your skin barrier behaves and how it accepts foundation. Change of weather does it, hormones do it, everything changes. So there's lots of reasons why my skin is going to do that. But anyway, on the whole, I think my skin has accepted this one very well, and the first try on is absolutely a success, and I love it. I've just noticed I probably put the lid on the wrong way around, so let's fix that before I say goodbye. But anyway, I do hope you found this helpful, and if you have, I would love it ever so much if you hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed, I would be delighted if you did subscribe to my channel. But if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for being here again at the end of another review. I truly appreciate every single one of you, and I really do hope to see all of you again for my next video. Take care everybody, bye!